Saram students, today let us do the revision of history. Lesson number 4, what books and burials tell us. Now children, let us see the topics that we are going to revise in this lesson. We shall revise about one of the oldest books in the world and about Sanskrit and other languages and how historians study the Rigveda and about cattle, horses and chariots and words to describe people and about silent sentinels, the story of the megaliths. And we shall also revise about finding out about social differences and were some burial spots meant for certain families, a special burial at Inamgaon, and what skeletal studies tell us, and about occupations at Inamgaon and elsewhere, that is about China. But children, today we shall revise about one of the oldest books in the world and about Sanskrit and other languages. Now children, let us revise about one of the oldest books in the world, that is about the Vedas. Children, you know that there are 4 Vedas. Can you name the Vedas? Rigveda, Samaveda, Yajurveda and Atharva Veda. Children, do you know which is the oldest Veda? Rigveda, it is the oldest Veda. And when was it composed? It was composed about 3500 years ago. And what does Rigveda include? The Rigveda, it includes more than 1000 hymns. And what are they called as? They are called as Sukta or well said. And children, what are these hymns about? These hymns are in praise of various gods and goddesses, and there are 3 gods that are especially important. Can you name them? Agni, the god of fire, Indra, a warrior god, and Soma, that is a plant from which a special drink was prepared. So children, these are the major gods that were praised in the hymns of the Rigveda. And the Rigveda is in old or Vedic Sanskrit, which is different from present day Sanskrit. So children, in what language has the Rigveda been composed? The Rigveda was composed in Vedic Sanskrit, and the Rigveda, it was recited and heard rather than read. This means it was written down several centuries after it was first composed. And when was it printed? It was printed less than 200 years ago. Now let us revise about Sanskrit and other languages. Children, which family of languages is Sanskrit a part of? Sanskrit is part of a family of languages known as Indo-European. And can you name some other languages that belong to Indo-European family? There are some Indian languages such as Assamese, Gujarati, Hindi, Kashmiri and Sindhi, and Asian languages such as Persian. And there are many European languages such as English, French, German, Greek, Italian and Spanish that belong to the Indo-European family. But children, why are they called a family? They are called a family because they originally had words in common. Children, here we can see an example of the word Ma. That is, if we take the word Ma, then we will call it as Matra in Sanskrit and Ma in Hindi and Mother in English. And children, other languages that are used in the subcontinent, they belong to different families. For example, those used in the northeast, they belong to the Tibeto-Burman family. And can you tell which languages belong to the Dravidian family? Tamil, Telugu, Kannada and Malayalam, they belong to the Dravidian family. And the languages that are spoken in Jharkhand and in parts of central India, to which family do they belong to? They belong to the Austro-Asiatic family. So children, these are the other languages that are used in the subcontinent and they belong to different families. Now children, let's discuss in what ways are the books we read today different from the Rigveda. The books that we read today are different from the Rigveda because the books we use are printed, while Rigveda was recited and heard rather than read, and the Rigveda is in old or Vedic Sanskrit. Now children, let us write a short note on the Rigveda. The Rigveda is the oldest of the Vedas and it includes over 1,000 hymns in Vedic, that is Old Sanskrit. These hymns are called Sukta or well said, and they are in praise of various gods and goddesses, mainly Agni, Indra and Soma. And these hymns were composed by sages who learnt them and made their children learn. And finally, they were printed about 200 years ago. Now children, let's have a quiz. Tick the correct option. First one, the oldest of the Vedas is dash. A. Rigveda, B. Samaveda, C. Yajurveda. What's the correct option? Correct. A. Rigveda. The oldest of the Vedas is Rigveda. Second one, the Rigveda includes more than 1,000 dash called Sukta or well said. A. Songs, B. Bhajans, C. Hymns. What's the correct option? Correct. C. Hymns. The Rigveda includes more than 1,000 hymns called Sukta or well said. Third one, Sanskrit is part of the dash family of languages. A. Tibeto-Burman, B. Indo-European, C. Dravidian. What's the correct option? Correct. B. Indo-European. Sanskrit is part of the Indo-European family of languages. Fourth one, the Rigveda has been written in dash. A. Vedic Sanskrit, B. Hindi, C. Tamil. What's the correct option? Correct. A. Vedic Sanskrit. The Rigveda has been written in Vedic Sanskrit. Now children, state whether the following statements are true or false. First one, Indra was the warrior god. A. True, B. False. What's the correct answer? Correct. A. True. Second one, the Rigveda was written and printed for the first time by hand about 3,500 years ago. A. True, B. False. What's the correct option? Correct. B. False. Third one, Sanskrit and Tamil belong to the same family of languages. A. True, B. False. What's the correct option? Yes. B. False. Fourth one, the major gods praised in the hymns of the Rigveda were Agni, Indra and Soma. A. True, B. False. What's the correct option? Correct. A. True. Now children, let's do match the following. Here we can see column A and column B. Language is written in column A and family of language is written in column B. So now let us read column A. First one, Sanskrit. Second one, Tamil. Third one, Tibetan. Fourth one, languages spoken in central India. Now let us read column B. A. Austro-Asiatic, B. Tibeto-Burman, C. Dravidian, D. Indo-European. Now children, let us match column A with column B. First one, Sanskrit. Which family of language does it belong to? Correct. Indo-European. So we'll write first one as D. Second one, Tamil. Which family of language does it belong? Correct. It belongs to Dravidian. So second one we'll write it as C. Third one, Tibetan. Which family of language does it belong? Correct. B. Tibeto-Burman. So we'll write third one as B. Fourth one, languages spoken in central India. What's the correct option? Correct. A. Austro-Asiatic. So the languages spoken in central India, they belong to Austro-Asiatic family of language. So children, today we have done part 1 revision of history lesson number 4. We shall continue with the revision of this lesson in our next class. Till then, goodbye children.